Hello, you've caught me thinking about love.
Love is patient, love is kind, love is irrational and painful and sometimes a bit messy, but most of all, love is a powerfully complex emotion that's almost impossible to describe.
Unless you're talking about the love between a gamer and their game, of course, in which case it can be broken down into a list of 7 things. No problem.
Game love. An average gamer will experience this maybe once or twice a year. It happens when a game comes along that's not like the other games. No, the other games we might have a fun frolic with for 20 hours or so.
Not all at once, I hasten to add.
Before we stick them back on the shelf and play about with something else. But then they come along. The games that get stuck in your brain like they get stuck in your disc tray. Games you'll obsess over every waking minute and that have you clock watching all day at work while you count down the hours until you can run home, put your phone on silent, order takeaway, cancel all your social plans, and then slump on your sofa playing them all night long. Oh yes.
Here are 7 signs you love a game way too much.
Now, when you love something, a natural thing to do is put reminders of that thing in places where you're likely to see it often, to cheer you up if you're having a bad day. I've got a photo of my daughter on my desk, Dave's got a Chewbacca bobblehead, and Nathan always carries a copy of John Berger's Ways of Seeing so he can whip it out at any time and look really clever.
Come down with a serious case of game love, however, and they all get replaced.
Yep, our first entry is when video game artwork steals its way onto your phone's lock screen or desktop in place of treasured family photographs. Yes, I've got a picture of Noctis and Lunafreya from Final Fantasy 15 on here instead of my daughter. Yes, I think that's perfectly acceptable. No, Dave doesn't react to my lock screen quite like he used to.
Aww, she's getting big now, isn't she? Rob, is that Final Fantasy 15? What are you, 12? I know, Chewy. Childish.
And anyway, it's not like I don't completely and utterly love my child. Of course I do. It's just that right now I love Final Fantasy 15 a little bit more.
Number 2. Now, it's normal when you're obsessed with a game to think about it every minute of every day. No, shut up, it is normal. But sometimes when you really do love a game, you think about it while you're sleeping too, otherwise known as dreaming.
Well, I got into Ni no Kuni last year. I thought it was amazing, absolutely loved it. It's so beautiful, and one night I had this dream that I was a familiar, and Oliver found me and he invited me to join his team, and I became his favourite familiar.
Well, I dreamt I was in The Witcher 3 and I was just picking up a contract from Velen like normal, but this time for some reason I had to team up with my old maths teacher, Mrs. Masters.
But Mighty, he was Oliver's main familiar. He got really jealous because I was the new favourite, and Oliver kept feeding me loads of chocolate and I was getting stronger. And Mighty, he was really jealous because he liked chocolate too, but I was just sitting in my cage just just getting fed loads of chocolate.
So me and Mrs. Masters end up going on our horses to this other village, and then we're talking to the locals about what kind of monster it is, and they're describing this thing that attacks you by shooting these really powerful jets of water.
So all the familiars got together and they had this big council meeting, and the lion one was there and the sun thing, and Mighty was going to put forward his case for why he was the best familiar. And I turn up and I was naked. And Mighty starts laughing and he says that I have to resit my geography GCSE, and then I woke up.
So we ended up getting to the woods and we're stalking this monster in its lair, and it turns out that the monster is Station Officer Steele from Fireman Sam, and he's shooting out in the water, and there are these maths questions and we have to answer the maths questions before they hit us or we get killed.
Yeah, we dream about games. Entry number 2 there.
Next up, you buy toys and or obscene amounts of merchandise. You want the world to know, yeah, that's right, I'm an adult, and I love this thing so much I'm putting it on a shelf where you'd usually find one of those homeware department candles shaped like a pebble or something.
If there are any true collectors watching, every atom in your body is probably screaming right now because I've taken these guys out the box, but, I like playing with them. Omnislash!
Besides, it's not just toys love a game enough, and it's been known for people to wear evidence of this love in the form of t-shirts and walk around in public effectively declaring this love before all the world, or at least whatever street you're walking down.
Guilty. I mean, I love my wife, but I don't wear her face on a sweatshirt. Metal Gear, however, slap that on me.
Holly loves The Witcher so much that an entire wall of her house is dedicated to it. You know, plants could have gone there, or bowls of potpourri. What can I say? That's how much Holly loves The Witcher. You can literally measure it by the height of that shelf there. Entry number 4. Now, when you're deep into a game and you find yourself in one of those annoying bits of time where you're not able to play it, like when you have to eat or go to work, the one thing you're always bursting to do is talk about the game. It's like a swell of excitement inside your brain that you know is just going to come pouring out the moment you open your mouth, so much so that you end up shooting that excitement over whoever's unlucky enough to be next to you at the time.
That could be someone on the bus, it could be the person at the checkout, it could be, heaven forbid, someone who doesn't care about the game.
But really, when you're so hooked on a game that it's all you can think about, you won't care that they don't care. You just have to get it out. No matter who it is or what they're doing, you have to tell them something, anything about the game.
Hey Mum!
What now? I'm busy!
I'm only one trophy away from platinuming Final Fantasy 15.
Oh, well, good for you! When you're done, how about you come down here and platinum the washing app?
Number 5 could just be me, admittedly, but have you ever been so obsessed with a game and played it so much that the soundtrack to the game becomes permanently stuck in your head no matter what you're doing? Actually, no, scratch that. It does matter what you're doing, because what you're doing determines which song on the soundtrack plays.
I call this soundtrack burn-in, like when you turn off an old plasma TV and the image stays there for a couple of seconds afterwards, but unlike that in that it's in your head and it stays there forever.
So right now I'm obsessed with Final Fantasy 15, I don't know if you can tell, Final Fantasy 15! And my brain plays me different parts of the soundtrack depending on my situation. So if I'm eating lunch, chocolate flapjack à l'orange, I came up with the recipe, my Final Fantasy-addled subconscious fires up that relaxing camping ditty. If I'm walking down the corridor at work and I see someone I'd rather avoid, I get that dramatic stab that happens when monsters are nearby. Or if...
Rob, that script needs to be done by 5 o'clock.
Also, bonus anecdote, Nathan once played Doom so much that he heard the sound of one of the enemies while in the supermarket.
Number 6 is when your love for a game burns so hot inside that you end up channeling it creatively and making actual stuff yourself. You can talk about a game, you can fill your house with figurines, you can change your phone's wallpaper. Nothing beats sitting down for a few hours, rain lashing the windows outside, hot mug of tea steaming away, and drawing your favourite character.
This is one of my prized possessions, my limited edition Final Fantasy XII official strategy guide, and I remember I used to sit down for hours copying some of the pictures out of here.
I haven't got the 15 one yet though, because it's about £100 on eBay at the moment, so I've drawn Ignis from memory instead. It doesn't have to be art though, games we love can also inspire us to write. Here's Dave with a bit of fan fiction he's penned.
Kratos is love. Kratos is life.
Actually, we don't need to hear that. Our final entry this week is when you go beyond the game and start consuming other forms of media because the world of that game you love is just too big to be contained on one disc. And so, you read video game novelizations, which, as far as declaring your love for a game goes, is like taking it to the Maldives, riding horseback along the beach at sunset, whining and dining on the sand, and then popping the question under the stars.
You have to be properly committed to a game to read fiction based in its world. You know, this is forever stuff.
How much do you love me?
So much.
Told your mum about me?
Already have done.
Drawn pictures of me?
Every day.
Do you dream about me?
Every night.
I think you should read my novelisation.
I think we should maybe just take things, a little bit slow.
This is hardcore stuff and is real proof that you're properly in love with a game. But what do you think? Have you ever done any of these things we've listed? Has your love for a game made you do something we haven't talked about? If so, please let us know in the comments, leave us a like if you enjoyed this video, and don't forget to subscribe if you haven't yet for more of these videos every Friday. Thanks for watching.